It started with a video that wasn't supposed to exist. I work night shifts as a security analyst for a small data storage company in Nevada. Most nights are boring. Just checking logs, monitoring camera backups, and making sure nothing weird shows up on the system. But 3 nights ago, something did. Around 3:12 a.m., one of our archive servers started pulling data from a town I had never heard of before. A small place called Hollow Creek. Population: 2,300 people. The weird thing was, we don't store footage for that town. But somehow, a whole folder appeared in our system. Hundreds of video files. All labeled the same thing. City and Archive. Final night. At first I thought it was a glitch. But when I opened the first video, my stomach dropped. The footage looked normal. Just a street corner in a small American town. Quiet. Empty road. A flickering streetlight. Typical small-town stuff. The timestamp said, October 14 to 11:47 p.m. Nothing unusual for the first few minutes. Then, suddenly, a man walked into frame. Middle-aged guy. Looked like he was just walking home. But halfway across the street, he stopped. Completely froze. Like someone hit pause on his body. He didn't fall. He didn't move. He just stood there, staring at something above him. At first I thought maybe he heard noise. So I rewound the footage. Watched again. Same thing. He stops. Slowly tilts his head up. Just staring into the sky. And then something even stranger happens. Another person enters the frame. A woman. She's walking down the sidewalk. She passes the man. But then she stops too. And she looks up. Same direction. Same expression. Like they're both seeing something. Something above the camera's view. Within 2 minutes, 5 more people enter the frame. Every single one of them does the same thing. They stop and look up. Nobody talks. Nobody runs. They just stare. Like they're waiting for something. That's when I noticed something that made my skin crawl. In the far corner of the footage, right at the edge of the streetlight, there was a shadow. Tall. Way taller than any person. At first I thought it was just a tree. But when I zoomed in, I realized something horrifying. It wasn't a shadow. It was moving. Slowly. Watching them. And the worst part? None of the people in the footage seemed to notice it. They were too busy staring at the sky. I switched to the next camera. Different street. Same town. Same night. And the same thing was happening there too. People walking. Stopping. Looking up. Camera after camera showed the same scene. It was like the whole town was waiting. But then I reached the final camera file. The last recording of the night. And the moment I pressed play, I understood why the folder was called Final Night. Because the camera wasn't pointing at the street anymore. It was pointing at the sky. And what I saw there made me realize something terrible. There weren't stars. There weren't clouds. There were lights. Hundreds of them. Perfectly still. Hovering over the entire town. And right before the video ended, every single person in the street smiled. And that's when I noticed something even worse. Because in the reflection of the camera lens, there was someone standing behind it, watching. And that figure wasn't human. I didn't sleep that night. After watching that first video, I couldn't. So I kept going through the files. Camera after camera. Street after street. Every single one showed the same thing. People stopping, looking up, and smiling. But what really messed with my head was the timing. All the cameras started recording the same strange behavior at exactly 11:52 p.m. Not a second earlier. Not a second later. Every street. Every intersection. The entire town. Like something happened in the sky at that exact moment. Something every person in Hollow Creek could see. But the cameras couldn't. I opened another file. CAM_17. Gas station. The footage showed a small gas station parking lot. A pickup truck pulled in. Two guys got out. They looked like locals. Laughing. Talking. Normal stuff. Then suddenly, both of them stopped. Mid-sentence. One of them slowly turned his head toward the sky. The other followed. And just like the others, they smiled. But this time, something else appeared in the frame. Behind the gas station. Standing near the dumpsters. That same tall shadow. Long limbs. Too tall to be a person. And this time, it wasn't just watching. It was walking. Slow, deliberate steps. Moving closer to the two men. But the men never reacted. They just kept staring upward. Smiling. Like they were hypnotized. Then the shadow stopped. Right behind them. Close enough to touch. But it didn't. It just stood there. Waiting. The timestamp jumped ahead 10 seconds. And suddenly, both men were gone. Just gone. No running. No struggle. No sound. One frame there. Next frame. Empty parking lot. My heart started racing. I checked the next camera. Then the next. Then the next. Same pattern everywhere. People staring up. Shadows appearing. And then, people disappearing. But the creepiest footage came from CAM_04, Town Square. The main street. The center of Hollow Creek. The place where most of the town had gathered. The footage showed nearly 30 people standing in the middle of the road. All looking upward. All smiling. Not moving. Not speaking. Just staring at the sky like statues. Then the camera suddenly glitched. Static. Distortion. The image flickered. And when it came back, something was standing among them. Not one shadow. Dozens. Tall figures scattered between the people. Long arms. Dark bodies. Completely still. And for the first time, one of them looked directly at the camera. I paused the video. Zoomed in. My hands were shaking at this point. Because the thing staring into the camera had no face. Just darkness. But somehow, I could tell it was looking straight at me. Then the footage did something I've never seen before. The camera moved. CCTV cameras don't move on their own. But this one slowly tilted upward. Toward the sky. Like something was forcing it. And that's when the lights became clear. They weren't stars. They weren't aircraft. They were massive. Huge glowing shapes hovering above the town. Silent. Watching. And suddenly, every person in the town square raised their arms. At the same time. Like they were welcoming something. Then the shadows moved. Fast. Blurring across the screen. The camera glitched again. Static filled the screen. And when the image returned, the street was empty. 30 people. Gone. In a single second. I leaned back in my chair, heart pounding. Because if everyone disappeared that night, then how did this footage get uploaded to our server? But that wasn't the scariest part. Not even close. Because when I checked the final file in the folder, I realized something horrifying. The last recording was taken after the town disappeared. And in that final video, the camera wasn't showing the street. It was showing the inside of the police station. And someone, or something, was standing in front of the camera, uploading the footage. My hands were shaking when I opened the final file. The file name was different from the others. All the other recordings had camera numbers. But this one just said, CAM_unknown, 12:09 a.m. 12 minutes after the town disappeared. I pressed play. The screen flickered to life. But this time, it wasn't a street camera. It was inside a building. Fluorescent lights. White walls. Desks. Computers. The Hollow Creek police station. The camera was mounted in the corner of the room. Looking down at the main desk. Everything looked abandoned. Papers scattered everywhere. Chairs knocked over. like people had left in a hurry. For a few seconds nothing moved, just the quiet hum of the camera. Then something entered the frame. From the hallway. At first I thought it was a person. Tall, thin, walking slowly. But the way it moved was wrong. Its arms were too long, its body too narrow, and it didn't walk like a human. It glided. The figure stopped at the desk, right in front of the computer, and that's when I noticed something that made my blood run cold. The screen of the computer was showing our company's server login page. My server, the same system I was watching from. The figure leaned closer to the screen, and suddenly, the computer started typing, keys pressing by themselves, uploading files, the CCTV footage, every camera, every recording, being uploaded to our server. But how would this thing know about our system? How would it know where to send the files? That's when the figure slowly turned its head toward the camera, and I froze, because the face was finally visible. It wasn't empty like the shadows outside. It had a face, a human face. But something was horribly wrong with it. The skin looked stretched, like someone had pulled it too tight. The eyes were completely black, and the smile was way too wide. It looked like someone trying to imitate a human, but not quite getting it right. Then something even stranger happened. The figure stepped closer to the camera. Closer, closer, until its face filled the entire screen. And suddenly, the audio turned on. Up until now, none of the cameras had sound. But this one did. And the thing in front of the camera spoke, not loudly, just a whisper. If you are watching this. My heart stopped, because it was speaking directly to whoever found the footage. Then it said something I'll never forget. We know where you are. The screen glitched. Static exploded across the footage. The video started breaking apart. Then suddenly, the figure leaned even closer to the camera, so close its eyes filled the screen, and it whispered one last sentence. We are coming next. The video ended. The file closed, and the entire folder disappeared from the server. Just like that. Like it was never there. I sat there in silence for a long time, trying to convince myself it was fake, some kind of hoax, until something happened that made my stomach drop. My security monitor beeped. A new camera feed appeared. But it wasn't from Hollow Creek. It wasn't from our servers. It was from the hallway outside my office. And standing in front of that camera was a tall shadow, watching my door. And right before the camera feed cut out, the shadow slowly lifted its head and smiled.